Hello, my name is Joanne Boniello. This is my nursing education capstone. I'm a registered nurse and board certified in Med-Surg. I work at New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital, which is in my community. I have lived in Peekskill, New York, which is in the Hudson Valley, for my entire life. I enjoy working in my community. I don't mind the commute, that's for sure. But I do work with a lot of nurses that live 40 minutes to an hour away. It's difficult after a 13-hour shift, especially a night shift. But besides that, I like that I have that familiarity with my patients. I know the area since I've always lived here, and I usually know where they're coming from. I think it gives them a sense of comfort, and I do enjoy that. I am looking forward to moving ahead in nursing education. I feel there's a great need for quality nurses, and I'm happy to be a part of creating that. I've learned a lot during this capstone and my overall graduate program. I feel better prepared to be a leader and to be an educator. And I think that's something that is very important for our future. And I'm looking forward to being one of those hopefully great nurse educators. The project I've completed for my nursing capstone is an online teaching module for the nursing staff at NYP. Soon, our hospital will be changing the IV heparin protocol, and I felt the need for education before implementation to ensure patient safety. Last year, I looked into weight-based IV heparin versus our protocol now. And best practice is weight-based. It turns out that to be with the Joint Commission's recommendations, we have to align with the IV heparin protocol. New York Presbyterian has many different facilities. Ours was probably the newest acquired, and we still go with the old protocol. I found it sort of ironic that they have a protocol in place, however, we never followed it. So, going forward, I felt our facility needed education. When we do our heparin drip now, which isn't every day because I'm on a medical surgical floor, a lot of nurses aren't really sure what to do. With the weight-based change, I feel like it will be more confusing without the knowledge ahead of time. That's what sparked me to create this online learning module, which in my facility we use SABA for any type of nursing education. The nurses have access from their work computers, and actually you can log in at home as well, so they can take it whenever they want it to. I really felt the need for this education was necessary, and I decided to do this for my capstone project. During the process, I was able to meet with the stakeholders, including the doctors, education faculty, nursing practice council, pharmacy, and laboratory personnel. The team was helpful and eager to assist in anything that I needed. During this project, I was able to meet with the stakeholders, including the doctors, nursing practice council, the education faculty, the pharmacy, and the laboratory personnel. Everyone was very helpful. Everyone was on board with the change, and they all did agree that there was a need for education. as a matter of fact, when we were trying to prove that the weight-based protocol was best practice, the doctor said, oh yes, let's just use Columbia Presbyterian's protocol. It's not that easy. The titrations are different, I've learned, because of the laboratory equipment or different things that they have to use. So working with the pharmacy and the laboratory, I learned that first, which really helped me to build this educational learning tool because I had that already. So I found that very helpful and very interesting, and everyone was right on board with this project. When implementing this module, I felt that there were many nursing theories that supported this project. However, I focused on Lewin's conceptual change theory. Change is always difficult for people, especially in nursing, and I just felt it was really important. And this theory just was right on target with it. The 3 stages in this theory are unfreezing, change, and refreezing. The unfreezing portion of this module included the education and evidence-based practice on why we needed this change. I explained to them what type of patients this would serve and how come the hospital is now changing this protocol. I thought it was important for them to unfreeze, sort of to open their mind and grasp the change, that it's not just because the hospital says we have to do it. It's because this is best practice for our patients. With research, we can always see that there's better ways to administer care to our patients. And that's why we're here, to ensure safety and optimal health for all of our patients. I really feel the unfreezing process includes educating the team on the importance of why we need this change. The next step is change. Change is difficult for anyone, especially adults. However, it was necessary. After the foundation for the change was understood, which was the background of why we need to do it and what best practice was, it was time to move ahead. Going from one protocol to another one required education, and that was through this module. It's important that the entire healthcare team understands and is able to implement the change. However, it's the nurses who are at the bedside. In order to be effective and safe for patients, accurate and detailed education had to be delivered. I based the education on the new protocol and taught the staff systematically the precise process to follow. The next step was refreezing. Success depended on the participation of the staff. The nurses were informed of the online module and asked to participate. The knowledge they gain from the learning module is important. In the end, it comes down to patient safety and well-being. The staff must acquire this knowledge and retain it to ensure safe patient handling and best practice. This project addressed a learning need. Since the hospital is instituting a new protocol, I saw there was a knowledge shortfall. This project is a solution to the learning need and educates the nurses on the new policies and procedures so they may then apply it into their practice. According to Ann Irving of Patient Safety and Quality Healthcare, the purpose of policies and procedures are to facilitate adherence with recognized professional practices, promote compliance with regulations, statutes, and accreditation requirements, reduce practice variation, standardize practices across multiple entities within a single healthcare system, serve as a resource for staff, particularly new personnel, and reduce reliance on memory, which, when overtaxed, as all of us nurses are, has been shown to be a major source of human errors or oversights. These functions demonstrate how central policies and procedures are to the healthcare system's patient safety program. Outcomes must be measurable to ensure the required learning has been met. The students, in this case the nurses, participated in the learning module and had to pass the post-test with 100%. In order to ensure the nurse grasped the information and is now knowledgeable to perform the task, warrants 100% understanding. There is no room for error in this application. When patients are receiving heparin, the protocol must be followed completely. To date, of the nurses that have completed the learning module, 1/3 have passed with 100% on the first attempt, another third after 2 attempts, and the remaining third after multiple attempts. Based on these results, there is a need for education on the subject in order to assure all nurses are knowledgeable and confident on every policy for patient care. There's no room for error. Through this capstone, I have learned many things. Taking the initiative to create a learning module for the hospital before the change took place was important to me. Patient safety is very important to me. Using my leadership skills, I found it easier to implement the module and reinforce to the nurses that this is an ongoing educational experience. There are times when we do not have to perform a task for months, sometimes even years, and any refresher on the subject is always helpful, I find. This project was very significant to me also. I used my teaching skills, my technology acquired throughout my master's degree program, and my knowledge of change. Lifelong learning has really become a part of who I am. There's always a question to ask, and finding the answer is very satisfying to me. This can only be accomplished by continuing to educate oneself and others. I'm looking forward to my nursing education career, and I've enjoyed this project.